So the very first question for everybody, is it your first time to experience meditation stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, not. Yeah.
For me, meditation is a deep practice, but this is
The first time.
Because I don't know what to expect.
So I think people might be very curious about what is meditation. Because we have talked about the Lord, you can find all kinds of information from the internet, right? From all the books, from different gurus. It sounds like, oh, maybe it's like something about religion, but it's not very like that. Oh, it's very spiritual. Yeah, maybe not. I don't know. So there's a lot of mysterious elements about this part. Why it is mysterious? Because we are confused about what? The mind. I think everybody has some sort of mental challenges in your life, in one or another. Like, just give an example. Everybody have sort of a fear towards life and death. When your family, your friends pass away, you can feel this kind of feeling strongly, is it? Because this kind of fear is very self-reflective. So when you look at it, it seems that it's people's deaths give us the fear. Maybe not. Maybe it's our reaction to death. So no matter who died, when we know that, this kind of feeling of sorrow just pass on to us. So we react to it immediately, and we begin to suffer a little bit. We need to take some time to accept that. Also, the anxiety in life. We have a lot of worries. We really dislike uncertainty. We want to seek some kind of a permanence in order to overcome the uncertainty. We crave for safety. But the thing is that life is always in a dynamic change all the time. A lot of things is beyond our control. But our desire to control something also in reverse gives something very hard to swallow. So we need to notice this kind of stuff because it's not uncommon. And we need to say it just as they are. Because probably we have some kind of issues in the fundamental values we have been holding on to, which leads to this kind of mental conflicts. Look at the fear towards death or the anxiety. Are they very different? Or are they very similar? Isn't it the anxiety a sort of form of fear?
Is this a question you need to answer or just listen?
You can reflect, think about that. You don't need to answer it. So here, when I ask questions, you don't need to answer.
Okay.
Just think about that, because everybody has different answers. You just need to reflect on it. To notice that we have a lot of fear in life, not only about death, also about other things, uncertainty. So we need to notice this kind of subtle feelings, which affect us a lot. To understand this is meditation. To be with it is meditation. no matter how hard we try to be away from uncertainty, life is uncertainty. It's always uncertain, is it? You never know what will happen tomorrow. To what you are now is the consequence of all kinds of causes and effects, conditions, and environments, most of which are just beyond your control. But when we just try to control something, which is against the fact that many things is beyond our control, it will give us the conflicts, right? We control something, but this stuff is really beyond our control. Then that very desire to control give us the issues. So we need to notice that we have given a lot of mental actions to the things around us. The desire, the control, the tendency to do, to make efforts. To understand this is to meditate. To understand our reactions to the things around us is to meditate. To understand that we are influenced by all kinds of things. Even notice a tiny influence from an article you just read, or just a piece of news you just read. Notice that influence on you. It might be tiny, but many things which are called tiny can lead to something big. We are more influenced than we think. We think we are a person, individual ones, but we are living in a world of influences. Think about who I am now. Isn't it a consequence of all kinds of influences? From your past education, knowledge, your working environment, your families, your friends, your colleagues. To understand this non-judgmentally, you don't think, oh, it's bad influence, I need to avoid it. Don't think that in that way. Just notice it. To be aware of these influences around us, that's to meditate. So, and as usual, we usually look outward to read books, to watch videos, to listen to other people speak. Like, no, you listen to me. Just, no. It's the way for us to look outward, try to understand something. Hopefully we can understand the world. But when you think about a question here, what is the world? Can we really understand the world by reading books or watching TV or watching other people's lectures? Right? Can we?
Yes.
If we think a little deeper about the world, when we ask ourselves, are we living in the same world or we are living in different worlds? It seems that we are living now in the same space, but everyone, each of us, has a different mental world, is it?
Yeah.
So we see it's outside world, but isn't it a mere projection of the inner world? So to understand outside world, actually, we just need to understand the inner world. But everybody has different inner worlds. Now, how can you read books to understand your inner world? Unless we slow down to look within. Just look at the mind, ourselves, just feel it. Then we begin to understand something. understand the sorrow in the life, the sufferings, all kinds of reactions we are trapped in, all the influences which we are receiving all the time. To observe our feelings towards these very big life topics without any judgment. Oh, it's bad, it's good, don't do that. We just look at it non-judgmentally. Oh yeah, and now I'm a little in anxiety because recently, yeah, I compare myself with other people, which sounds better than me. So when I notice that when I compare myself with other people, which triggers my negativities, when we notice this, it gives you the answer. It gives you the solution to your issues. So the way to do that is to meditate. And this is a meditation. Because when you read something from the news or articles, meditation needs to sit down like a gesture, to like a monk. That's only a form, right? You can do that, of course, no problem at all. But you don't have to. Following people has thousand ways of doing that. The way for us is to understand the essence of meditation, not a particular form, right? Like everybody can write, but everybody write differently with different styles. We don't need to force everybody to write in the same style. The same for meditation. It's same. Just understand that we meditate just to be aware of all the mental activities on the mind at each moment. Don't interpret it, because we are very good at using the knowledge in the past or the knowledge we learned from the books to interpret your feelings now. That can be very misleading, because for the mind, it's always in a dynamic space. What we do is just observe it. Don't use a verse to interpret it. Don't use your past experience to interpret it. That's the way to meditate. Meditation is all about this. But to meditate, we need to calm down first. Calm down. It can be a challenge. Seriously, we think we are very calm. But when you find that sometimes it's difficult to go to sleep because those thoughts pop up, or sometimes in the day, most time you're also in a thoughts. In that situation, it probably is not easy to calm down. We think we calm down, but thoughts still pop back to us, right? So for most people in the modern life, calming down is a challenge. And the calm down is beyond our consciousness. We think we calm. It's different from we are calm, is it? Because we are very good at deceiving ourselves. We're very good at. We think we are happy. It's different from we are happy, is it? To calm down means that we need to empty our consciousness now, immediately. To let go all the thoughts. Or so to speak, non-thinking. now, this moment. But probably now, let's think about how many moments in our day that we really do non-thinking. Probably not very much. You see, when you read some article or news from the website, that very article immediately trigger you a lot of thoughts, is it? A lot of mental images. So before we go a little deeper into this topic, let's try to meditate together for 10 minutes. So if it's the first time for you to meditate, right? So let's just go through the technique a little bit. It's very simple, very simple. To meditate, you just sit in this way, perfect. Or sit cross-legged, that's also perfect. Like a monk is perfect. So there's no right or wrong gestures. The thing is that we just sit back, sit back, but not very strict, but just make sure that, yeah, we can breathe naturally and freely. So what shall we do now to feel something? Here, let's do the breath meditation. Breath. Why we use breath here? So there are two reasons usually. One is that breath is something very neutral. Why is it neutral? Think about your life. How many moments do you really remember breath? Right, most time breath is ignored until you have a bundled up nose. When you catch a cold, you begin to notice, oh yeah, I have some problem with my breath. You see, most of life, you breathe a lot every minute, but you totally ignore it. So now that's why when we talk about breath, for most people, it's very neutral. It won't trigger anything, right? The second reason is also very important, is that breath is not a thought. Is it? It's not a thought. It's a body sensation. Everybody has it. It's there all the time until you die. Is it? So it's not a thought at all. It's a sensation. That's why in meditation, we try to feel the sensation, to feel it, not in the thoughts, not in emotions. Just feel the breath. So what kind of sensation we can feel about breath? I think this question must come naturally, is it? Let's do once. When you breathe in, what can you feel? One of the most obvious one is your chest. When you breathe in, it's expanding, is it? But there are also some subtle ones. You can focus on this part. Because when the air flows into the nose, this part can be a little cool. It's tiny, but if you give attention to that enough, you begin to feel it gradually. When you breathe out, you can focus on the belly, right? Because when you breathe out, the belly just falls back. But you can also focus on this part, nostrils. When the air flows out the nose, it can be a little warm, is it? Try to give some attention to that part when you breathe. Because when At this moment, when the thoughts still running in the head, it might take a few minutes to let us feel the sensation of the breath. So we need to focus on the sensation, on the breath. Focus on the sensation, on the breath. Try to feel it now. At the same time, also try to be aware of something. When you are breathing in, try to be aware that you are breathing in. When you breathe out, notice that you are breathing out. Focus on the sensation of breath. At the same time, notice that you are breathing. When you breathe in, notice that you are breathing in. Focus on the sensation of breath. It can be the expansion of your chest or the coolness around the nostrils or anything else. When you breathe out, notice that you are breathing out. Focus on the sensation of breathing out. It can be the shrink of your chest or belly, or the warmth around your nostrils, or anything else. So when you hear the bell, notice that where your attention is. If it wasn't on breath, that's quite uncommon. Try your best to combat breath. You say, it's easy to get carried away by thoughts. That's okay. Don't judge yourself. Just accept that and combat breath. Slowly open your eyes. Feel the space around you at this moment. To enjoy this peace and the silence. The true calm mind, the true peaceful mind is a mind not disturbed by thoughts, mental images. When you just experience the tiny peace of the mind, you begin to feel that how chattering the mind was in the past. When the thought stops, you begin to feel sleepy immediately. The body will tell you, guys, ladies, gentlemen, you are tired. Time to rest. But if we are in a thought all the time, thoughts will block us from getting the signal from the body. Here is not a denial of thoughts. You should never think, I didn't see that. But things that try to give you space sometimes, to not think intentionally, to calm down. When to think, when not to think, is a wisdom we need to form, to learn, to get by your own experience. It's never sensible to think all the time, right? So when to think, when not, is the wisdom. If you refuse to think, or you just purely think, that's not wisdom. Because we don't deny thoughts, but we must be aware of the issues sometimes arising from the thoughts. So meditation is like we sit together. It's only a form. Like today we have this small event. We just sit together to examine the mind. But for meditation, everybody actually is in solitude. When you meditate, you are really alone, is it? You feel the breath. You be away from all the influences. Just feel the body, feel the mind. Wholly, totally. So, in other words, just as the bird said, we need solitude. We need to be away from all the influences, all the thoughts, to calm down a little bit. Right? Yeah, you agree with me. Thank you for support. So we need to give ourselves a break, a true break. It's not about the holiday we take. You can always can, but we need to give us the space in which we have no thoughts, we have no self, we have no center. When you understand your mind, when you understand how the mind works, you understand everyone's mind. You understand everyone's suffering. That very understanding gives us the insight into this world. Also, the insight into the chaos, the mental chaos we are living in. To understand and try to observe, to deeply aware of our mental challenges, we need to understand a very important part of the modern life. That's the self, the ego stuff. You might notice that if we do everything to just try to benefit ourselves, this process actually gives us a lot of chaos, conflicts. Sometimes it conflicts within the mind. Sometimes it's between different people. We compare, we compete. So we must try to give a little attention to the self. Of course, physically we exist as a body. This is my physical self. That's very true, is it? But most time, when we talk about self, we talk about the psychological one, is it? We toy with the concept of the self all the time. In that very attachment to the concept of the self, it gives us all the mental conflicts. Think about our desire, our craving for something. Think about of all kinds of tendencies for security, for certainty, for permanence. Everything is running around the self. You have a self, you have a center. I have a self, I have a center. Then we draw a circle around us. When we interact, we just conflict all the time. You suffer, I suffer. Think about when we do a transaction with other people, doing a trade. You want to sell something or you want to buy something. Think about the two sides. How much power we have used to calculate, to be cunning. After this trade, both sides suffers. Do you feel it? It's difficult to have a very good deal, is it? Everybody want try to benefit from this deal. And we have a lot of a mental fight. You see, in this kind of trading mode or the transaction mode, we just do it based on the self. And both sides feel bad. So that's why many people just want to give you something away. It's better than sell something to other people sometimes. Right? because everybody can feel this kind of issues from the triggered ego. Because when we have the ego, it must be some kind of reaction to the situation. So to meditate, it's to notice that how many of the mental challenges we have had is because the triggered self, the triggered ego. Think about our wanting. We want more and more, right? Think about that. We can get used to things so easily, and we keep just raising the reference point all the time. Think about all efforts we have put to satisfy our desire. It's not about having or not having a desire, but just to notice that a desire sometimes can give us some challenges mentally. To be aware of this non-judgmentally, that's meditation. You see, meditation never tell you do something or not do something, because there's no really right or wrong to do something or not to do something. But meditation tells us just to be aware of all the things around us, our mental actions, our mental activities, our emotions, our reactions, and also our general attitudes towards life. Everybody is different, of course. That's very, very true. Everybody behaves differently, thinks differently. There's nothing about right or wrong. But we are all humans. We have the same neuron system. The neuron system works in the same way, right? Just because we are living in different environment, which leads to different behaviors. So to understand the neuron system, how the neuron works, is meditation, is it? Because your mind is based on neurons. But neurons is beyond your mind, is it? Beyond your consciousness. So we need to calm down, not the consciousness. We need to calm down the neurons. To calm down that requires wisdom, is it? Because it's beyond your thought. The more you think about that, the more neurons are activated. It's very counterintuitive, is it? But that's the way to meditate. To stop thinking. To be aware of something. When you be aware of something and beyond your thoughts, you begin to notice that there's something fundamental, but it's beyond your consciousness, can still influence on us. That's the neurons, the neuron paths, or we can call it subconsciousness, or unconsciousness, whatever we call it. It is stuff. And because we have ignored this part all the time, thinking has become such a strong habit for us. Even during the last 10 minutes when we meditate, thoughts still pop back sometimes, because our unconsciousness always works in that way to give us the problem. So to change our mind, to calm down, we need to train the mind in a way that thoughts won't distract us. But how to do that, you may wonder, right? Actually, it's very easy. Just do the meditation as we just did. Focus on the sensation. Just ignore the thought. That's a very small trick, but sometimes it can be challenging because, try to observe our tendency to identify the thoughts. That very tendency is the key. If you notice it and try your best, just focus on the breath, the sensation, not carried by thoughts. Oh, notice, oh yeah, there's thought coming, but I just ignore it. Oh, let it come, let it be, let it go, but I still focus on breath. That's the general way to do that. When you don't care about thoughts, thoughts won't concern you at all. You see? So everything is neutral. If you care about thoughts, thoughts will care about you. If you, I don't want to think, I want to block out my thoughts, that very refusal is also care, is it? You care about that, and then you refuse it. And the problem is that, okay, the thought's still there. You see, no care. That's a very important part. No care about thoughts. Let it come, let it be, let it go. And I just focus on the sensation. I just focus on the environment here. I just go to the terrace to look outside, to enjoy the view, to just see it, to feel it. You see, there's no single form of meditation. You can just, when you walk on the road today, when you live here, in the traffic, in the tram or in the subway, just try to look around people. Don't speak, just look around people. Just see their behaviors. That's also meditation. Because you see it, you don't interpret it. You don't think about that. Just look at them. That's also meditation. Thinking, overthinking is now your whole habit. But practice practice. When to think, when not to think is your new habit. Overwriting the old ones. Oh, I need to think because I need to work. Think. Oh, I'm too busy. I don't want to think. No think. Isn't perfect. So that's the meditation. So why sometimes we enjoy going on holidays? Actually, we also want to end the thoughts, right? During that few days in other countries, would you just feel the environment, right? Everything is so very, very new to you, around you, very overwhelmingly new, but you feel good. Why? Because you are away from your thought for a while. But if you can meditate, you are going on holiday every day. You can go on holiday at home. Is it? You save a lot of money, right? And if you know how the mind works, even if you go on holiday, you will know how to make most of it, how to enjoy the holiday fully, right?
How would you apply this at work, during the workday?
That's a good point. How to apply meditation technique to your work. In your workplace, I guess you have a lot of interactions with people, and different people behave differently. That's give us a lot of uncertainties right? The thing is that by understand the essence of meditation, we need to develop an attitude of not care. You know care about thoughts, you also know care about your work. You do it, but don't care about that. The problem is that we do the work and we put our soul into it. You see the result? When you have the conflicts, you feel, oh my God, it's horrible, it's miserable. Work is my life. No, work is not your life at all. Because you are really into the game, mentally. So to apply meditation to your work simply means that notice that how you are into it. We can do the work, of course. That's the society runs in this way, right? But if we are really into the work mentally, you see that why we have so many defensive colleagues? Because they are really into it. They want to use their work as their whole life. But this kind of seriousness gives us the challenges. Nothing is really serious. Nothing is really important, including the book, is it? You do the work, no problem at all. But if you move into it, to make it as your whole life, that can be a challenge. Our life needs more playfulness. Your work also needs more playfulness. So to apply the meditation to your work means that you need to notice your attitude to the work. To notice that the emotions you have had from your work, your interactions with other people. From my point of view, if you could meditate maybe 5 minutes every hour, every 2 hours, try to give space to notice that how you respond to your colleagues, to other people during the reactions triggered by the work. You'll find a solution to a lot of things. But if you keep working without stop thinking for a while, the thoughts will lead you astray. Is it? So to apply meditation to your work, you need to re-understand the relationship between you and your colleagues, between you and the work. To reflect this relation is very important. Because we usually ignore, we just take a job and do a job and argue with the people, or we also have all kinds of microaggressions. The problem is that we are really into the rule in the work. To understand mind, we need to step back a little bit to notice that how two people interact. To notice that how the self and ego is triggered in the work. So why sometimes we just compete against each other in the work. You see this kind of triggered ego stuff. Everybody suffers. Also, the stress, anxiety from the work. Isn't it the consequence of the thoughts, right? So, long story short, because for this 1 hour session we couldn't tell everything. That's too much. It must be very shocking to many people to take this in short time. The thing is that try to give your space regularly to not think. to be present. That matters a lot. When you are present, you will begin to notice a lot of issues. Notice all kinds of things that bring you away from the present. Don't let your mind running all the time. Just for my recommendation, every hour, every 2 hours, try to give you 5 minutes, 10 minutes, even 15 minutes. Just no think, just like stay here or that place to meditate, or just go to the terrace. Just enjoy the view. Don't let the thoughts block you from the view. Just see the view. Just enjoy. Just true over the view. And second, try to be playful. Don't take something. Maybe if I would say don't take everything seriously. That matters a lot. You can do everything if you don't take everything seriously. But if you take everything seriously, you can do nothing. Think about that. Just reflect on that. I think you have your experience. Will tell you whether you agree with this or not. So to end this session, let's do another short time meditation again with me, and to find the peace and calm again. And now at this time I will play the audio guide here. It's 10 minutes, so follow the audio guide. Just give yourself the space. Give yourself a break. Now, let's take a 10-minute meditation. Start by taking a moment to find a comfortable position to sit in a posture that you feel relaxed and get alert. Let the hands rest on your knees or legs. Let the eyes close gently. Soften your forehead. Act a soft smile in the corner of your lips. Breathe naturally. As you breathe in, be aware as you breathe in. Feel the sensation of breathe in. As you breathe out, be aware of breathing out. Feel the sensation of breathing out. Fix your attention on the breath. Let go of any thought. This moment, nothing is more important than breath. every time you hear the bell, notice where your attention is. If it wasn't on the breath, gently invite attention back to the breath, and try your best to stay your attention on the breath. Slowly bring your awareness back to the room. Feel into your body. Wiggle your fingers and toes. When you are ready, open your eyes. I hope this session can give everybody a basic impression on the meditation or mindfulness practice. And I hope everybody can stay peace and calm in your life. Take care of your own mind. And thank you for Yang today to provide the venue and support to this event. And also another advertisement. We also have the session on Monday regularly. They're also similar to this, but it's bigger and it's more about the specific topics. And if you are really interested in this, you're also welcome to join. Also free. And it's a little more philosophical than this. But at FU, the Free University Amsterdam. So every Monday, 6 p.m. global room. If you want to, you can just go to the meetup to check the event. I just put up the event every week. So that doesn't matter because life is yours, is mine. Let's take care of it and enjoy each moment. Nothing matters. And thank you for being here tonight. Not tonight, this afternoon. That's a habit because
Always night.
Yeah, always night. Yeah. Okay, that's it. Yeah.